lovely children. It's always exciting to come your way with these true stories that affect our lives positively. Never get tired reading, listening, and learning from these people in the Bible. You are welcome to today's episode. Today on Godly Kid, we learn about the man Joseph. Joseph. Not Jesus' father anyway, but a different Joseph we will get to know. And as usual, I am your storyteller, Joe Smith. So Joseph, a very interesting young man we have today to learn from. Joseph was one of Jacob's sons, the 11th son to be more precise. His father, as mentioned, was Jacob, and Rahel was his mother. They lived in the land of Canaan, where Joseph's grandfather, Isaac, had stayed. Jacob loved Joseph very much because he was born in his old age, but the brothers of Joseph hated him. Something that you should never learn as a child, because the Bible teaches us to love and not to hate. Now, from a very young age, Joseph believed God had prepared him for greatness. In dreams, God assured Joseph that he would rise to a position of leadership over his parents and brothers. And so one night, whilst Joseph was sleeping, he had a dream. In the dream, Joseph saw himself and his brothers in a field gathering wheat. After gathering the wheat, Joseph saw that the bundle of his brothers were bowing to his bundle. On a different night, Joseph had another dream. This time, he saw the sun, the moon, and 11 stars, all bowing down to him. Joseph told his brothers about his dream, and they hated him the more because they realized the meaning of Joseph's dream was to be a ruler over them. Once again, it is not right to hate someone. Joseph also told his father about the dream, and his father rebuked him because the dream meant that his parents were all going to bow down before him. Such a great dream. Wait, did I tell you that Joseph's father made him a very nice coat? Yes, Jacob made Joseph a very nice coat with many colors because of how much he loved him. And so one day, whilst Joseph's brothers were in the field taking care of their father's flock, Jacob sent Joseph to go and see if they were doing well in the field. So Joseph set off to meet his brothers in the field. When the brothers saw him approaching, they decided to kill him because they hated him. Children, do you see what hatred can make us do? A very bad character you should never learn. Now let's continue. So they decided to kill Joseph. But Reuben, Joseph's elder brother, suggested they throw him into a pit instead. And so they took off the beautiful coat of many colors and threw Joseph into a pit. Fortunately or unfortunately for Joseph, some Midianite merchants who were on their way to Egypt came passing by, and the brothers brought Joseph out of the pit and sold him to these merchants for 20 shekels of silver. This was an idea of Judah, another elder brother of Joseph. In the absence of Reuben, they sold Joseph out. And so these merchants took Joseph to Egypt. The brothers of Joseph killed a goat and stained Joseph's coat of many colors with the blood. They took the coat to their father and reported Joseph dead. They told their father a dangerous animal had killed him. Children, another bad character you should desist from, and that is lying. It is not good to lie as a child of God. Now, upon hearing about the death of Joseph, which was actually a lie, Jacob tore his clothes and mourned his beloved son. Back in Egypt, the merchants sold Joseph to Potiphar, an official to Pharaoh the king. Joseph served very well in the house of Potiphar, and his master made him the caretaker of everything in the house, except his wife. One day, Potiphar's wife decided to sleep with Joseph because he had grown to become a very handsome young man. But Joseph refused because he saw that as a sin against God. A very good character by Joseph that every child of God should learn, and that is to always flee from sin as children of God. When Potiphar returned to the house in the evening, his wife turned the tables on Joseph, telling her husband that it was Joseph who had tried to entice her. Potiphar became very angry and sent Joseph to the prison. Oh no, poor Joseph. Whilst in prison, two mates of Joseph dreamt and shared it with him. He interpreted the dream, and it came to pass just as the meaning came. One of the mates was killed, and the other was restored back to the palace of the king. Now 2 years later, King Pharaoh himself also had two different dreams, which none of his advisors were able to explain. Now the cupbearer, the mate who was with Joseph in prison but was freed, remembered Joseph could interpret the dream, and so Joseph was called upon. In Pharaoh's dream, he was standing by the Nile River. 7 cows came up out of the river. They looked healthy and fat. They were eating some of the tall grass that was growing along the river. After them, 7 other cows came up out of the Nile. They looked ugly and skinny. They were standing beside the other cows on the riverbank. The ugly, skinny cows ate up the 7 cows that looked healthy and fat. Then Pharaoh woke up. What a weird dream. He fell asleep again and had a second dream. In that dream, 7 heads of grain were growing on one stem. They were healthy and good. After them, 7 other heads of grain came up. They were thin and dried up. The thin heads of grain swallowed up the 7 healthy, full heads. Then Pharaoh woke up. Joseph, then 30 years old, interpreted Pharaoh's dream as being a divine prediction of 7 years of plenty, followed by 7 years of famine, and advised Pharaoh to prepare by storing grain during the first 7 years. In Impressed by Joseph's wisdom, Pharaoh appointed him as his prime minister, second only to the king himself, and tasked him with preparing the nation for the years of famine. You see what the Lord can do when we obey and remain diligent to Him. From prison, now Joseph is a prime minister. The dream Joseph had as a child has finally come to pass. At a very young age, Joseph started dreaming and seeing his future, meaning it is not too early for us as children to also start manifesting the gift the Lord has given us. Joseph was obedient, loving, and very forgiving. He lived an upright life, and we are all expected as children of God to learn these characters from Joseph. I believe today's episode has been a blessing, as we've learned a lot from the story of Joseph. And so this brings us to the end of today's episode. Don't forget to share what you've learned today with your siblings and friends. And most importantly, be a good child to your parents, your church, your school, and everyone around you. See you on the next episode. Bye-bye.